Logan Christian, Cole Coutu, Senor Smiley, Kyle Pauline, and Hunter Patnode in the mix as well on the U.S. Air Force Amsoil Skidoo. The launch off the line from the inside. Looks like the stud boy hole shot might very well be grabbed by Hunter Patnode.
And Hunter Patnode, this is big for him. I know he wants it last night. So unfortunate, not only for him, but his teammate Lincoln Lemieux.
And now Adam Renheim coming into the mix on the number 311 sled as Renheim takes the lead from Patnode over the Amsoil finish line jump. Patnode getting a little Kyle Pauline to his side, and they are stacked up 3 wide behind him. Logan Christian in the mix there along with Patnode.
Yeah, Adam Renheim coming into this weekend, him and his mechanic Kyle Sackett, they had said they've been making some changes to the sled, and we've seen that paying off already. Strong qualifier performances for Renheim yesterday, and he was our number 3 qualifier heading into the main event.
Look at this 3-way dance here for the number 3 spot, sneaking up on the inside. That'll be Aki Palaya. Palaya piles into the side of Logan Christian. Kyle Pauline takes that Lavali Racing Red Bull Polaris down to the inside. Christian got the worst end of that deal.
That's right. We see Hunter Patnode still hanging up there, getting bunched up in the corners. That tends to happen. You're coming off these fast straightaways, these corners, they are tight. That is for sure. That inside line looks to be favorable right now in the Polaris corner as they head into the Ram corner.
Adam Renheim has jetted out to a 3-second lead. We're watching the battles here for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, with Patnode still hanging on to 2nd. Getting a handful here from Aki Palaya. And Palaya's got Senor Smiley, Kyle Pauline nipping at his heels as they come around the Polaris turn. That jams everybody up in the slow speed corner as they hit the launch into the Arctic Cat rhythm section and then that U.S. Air Force flyaway.
And I was speaking with master technician for Shearing Speed Sports, Elliot Burns, earlier today, as well as Hunter Patnode, to get the lowdown on what happened yesterday in Hunter's wreck. He, of course, did not line up for the final. He did. He took the start, but was unable to continue. They wanted to send him to the hospital. They were afraid he may have fractured his scapula and his pelvis, but it turns out, good news, it's just bruised. So he's hurting a little bit today, but he's saddling up here, and he seems to be looking strong currently in 2nd.
And that shows you what kind of athletes these Amsoil Pro riders are, to be able to ride when their bodies are beaten, banged up, and maybe not necessarily 100%. So Patnode keeping that U.S. Air Force Amsoil Skidoo in the number 2 spot. Aki Palaya riding for Dean Motorsports, his first weekend of competition on Amsoil Championship Snowcross powered by Ram trucks this season.
And Aki has actually been practicing for about 2 months back home, and now back up front we see Adam Renheim currently leading the pace still very, very strongly. Look at that gap over 2nd.
Adam Renheim had the quickest time in the Amsoil Pro practice sessions held in the daylight hours. Now, of course, we're under the lights. The track a little bit different after the re-grooming, and Adam Renheim certainly finding it to his liking on his Skidoo as he charges back through that Skidoo and FXR rhythm section past the Makita Power Tower.
I spoke with Adam a little bit after the Dubuque rounds at the Tyson's Snowcross National, and he said he had found really good speed on Friday night. He was able to work his way up to 8th after starting near the back of the pack. And yes, he did go forward 6 positions, but he said, a guy like me who knows what it takes to win a race and be on the podium, it is very hard to be satisfied, even with moving forward 6 positions in that 8th place finish.
1 round to go. Jacob Yerk was on the top step of the podium. He is not having a good first-round qualifying effort here tonight. He sits back in the 6th position, looking up ahead at Logan Christian in front of him. So those 2 Arctic Cats back there in spots 5 and 6 as we work into the closing laps here of this Amsoil Pro qualifier.
And Jacob Yerk, of course, last night's round 5 pro winner. He said, yeah, a win does feel good. That first career pro win for Jacob Yerk yesterday, but today's a new day. And he said, in fact, the track is going to shape up completely different. We're going to see our more lines to choose from. So any rider who may have had success last night, that doesn't necessarily translate tonight, too.
Yerk powers it into that Arctic Cat rhythm section. Long double there before the U.S. Air Force flyaway. Meanwhile, up front, Adam Renheim jetting out to 4.5 seconds of lead over Hunter Patnode as Palaya maintains the 3rd spot. Renheim looking over his shoulder there over the U.S. Air Force flyaway to see where 2nd place is. Probably can't even see him.
And on a very tight track like this, he's looking behind him because this track is so tight. He's trying to hear, they're listing the snowmobiles around them. How close are they? But when you have one to your left, sometimes it can be hard to tell if they're actually behind you or on the opposite side of the track. So just looking over the shoulder, seeing how much of a lead he has out front. Currently 4.525 seconds over second.
Renheim will be coming to the white flag this time as he comes across the Amsoil finish line jump as you round the corner with him from above. Scooting through that ram turn, using that little berm that's built up on the outside edge there to square the sled up for the Skidoo at FXR rhythm sections.
Man, this would be such a big heat race win. His first heat race win for the Green Mountain Racing crew and Adam Renheim as he closes in on the final rhythms of this one.
So Renheim will pick up the win in this Amsoil qualifier. Hunter Patnode will finish in the second position. Aki Palaya will put his Theme Motorsports Skidoo in for third, followed by Kyle Pauline in fourth, Logan Christian, then it's Jacob Bjork and Cole Coutu who will complete the field here in this first of two rounds of Amsoil Pro qualifying. We've got a stacked deck coming up here for heat number 2. On the line for this one, Emil Haar on the 31. Your point leader, Elias Ishul on the 200. Daniel Benham on the 221. Cody Cam on the 53. Lincoln Lemieux on the 13. Oscar Norms 40. And finally, Francis Peltier with the number 220. Let's go down to Josie for an update.
As the riders are getting ready to go green, something to keep in mind is right now they're engaging their clutch. This allows the sled to creep forward a little bit, yet they are still holding the brake so they don't trip that green light. When that light goes green, they're going to go into a rhythm section. This is the first time in the series that we've seen a rhythm section straight out of the start line. Let's go racing.
From the outside, a great hole shot. Looks like Cody Cam jumping up there to the head of the class, but he's got company. Here comes the Lightning Rocket, Elias Ishel, then Emil Haar out of nowhere blows by everybody.
And 3 wide heading into the very tight Polaris corner that was eating him up last night.
So Emil Haar grabbing the advantage here on that Judnick Motorsports sled. That's the Jack Links Exalta Climb sponsored machine as he powers his way into the Skidoo rhythm section. And now the teammate's going to go bar to bar there for a second. And the champ is down. Elias Ishel got caught up there at the back of the field coming out of the Ram Trucks corner. Man, he's going to have a long way to go in this one.
He really is. And we talk about all the shakeups we had yesterday in round 5. Elias Ishel was one of them. To have these offs and some of these mistakes and miscalculations in the navigations, that is not like Elias Ishel.
All right, now Cody Cam, Oscar Norm being pursued by Lincoln Lemieux. And Lemieux now going to go step for step with Cody Cam through the FXR section of the track. They'll take the inside lane into the Polaris corner, one of the Warner Racing Nikita Rockstar Skidoo sleds right behind. That'll be Francis Peltier.
We saw Cody Cam on the podium last night, and man, he was emotional. This one was so meaningful to him. Now, he did this, coming back from injury, his first podium since, at a place where he had his first ever career win, the former champ to be able to podium here in Deadwood. That was a big one for him, and not only himself and the Henches crew, but for Oscar Norm as well, able to take second in last night's final.
They'll power their way back through the Arctic Cat rhythm section of the U.S. Air Force flyaway as you watch Peltier try to give chase to Lincoln Lemieux. One lap ago in this corner, Lemieux stuffed a ski way to the inside of Cody Cam, but Cam was able to accelerate out of the corner with that new fuel injection in the Polaris sleds. They are bad fast. They showed it one round to go by finishing second and third in the Amsoil Pro Final. And there's a Polaris up front as well. Emil Haar doing work here, trying to pick up a win in this Amsoil Pro qualifier.
And I was speaking with Judnick's team owner, Scott Judnick, and he said the team dynamic they have right now with Nick Lorenz, Emil Haar, Carson Allred, the vibe is so good in the trailer, and it hasn't necessarily been that way, he says, since Ross Martin had retired a few years ago. So they have a very good thing going. They know they're onto something. Emil Haar, that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Haar cranks his way out of the corner, makes his way back down here through the Skidoo rhythm section. Into the FXR jumps here. Emil looking smooth.
Very, very smooth indeed.
Oscar Norm, meanwhile, holding on to the number 2 spot here on the Henches Racing Monster Energy Vertex-sponsored Polaris sled.
And I think Oscar Norm is on to something here. He has been consistently second place. I know he is so close on the verge of breaking through for a big win in the main event. It's just a matter of time.
Longtime Polaris wrench Tim Bender working out of that Hench's racing trailer. When you see Tim Bender with that sly Cheshire Cat grin on his face, you know they've got the tune-up on the sledge run.
Absolutely. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, we did do a mic'd up segment with Oscar Norm's mechanic from Hench's Racing, Levi Ensrud. So check that out on the Amsoil Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram Trucks, social media, a very good bit. You can see some of those conversations that Oscar's mechanic Levi has with him during the pro final and afterwards.
So Oscar Norm continuing to roll along in second place, about 5 seconds behind your leader, Emil Haar, as we work into the final couple of laps of this Amsoil Pro Qualifier. There is your leader, doubling up here, going through the Skidoo and FXR rhythm sections. Emil sticking to that inside lane as he cranks his way over that Arctic Cat takeoff ramp into the U.S. Air Force flyaway.
Man, this is so good for Emil Haar. He had a very good run in the opening round at ERX Motor Park, and he's been struggling since then. But this is one of the guys who is in the best shape of this pro field. He is actually, if you have not seen him back in the pits in person, he's very tall, very strong. He's actually an avid moose hunter, and his nickname over the Jugnik trailer is Mooses.
If you've been watching the timing and scoring at the top of the screen, you may notice that Elias Ischel is still stuck at the back of the field. He has not been able to advance forward. He's trying to run down Francis Pelletier, but unfortunately is a few sled lengths behind him and running out of time to try to advance any spots in this qualifier.
This would be quite the shakeup if Elias Ischel is not to move a little bit forward. And last night we saw misfortune for Francis Pelletier, who I believe had a DNF in his heat race.
Emil Haar has taken the white flag, so he'll bring that Polaris sled back through the Skidoo rhythm section. Like many of the Scandinavian racers that joined us in Amsoil Championship Snowcross powered by Ram, they love it when the tracks get rough and choppy, and Emil Haar is going to translate that love into a round win as he comes across the Amsoil finish line. Second spot, Oscar Norm, and his teammate Cody Camp will come away with a third. Lincoln Lemieux will grab the number 4 spot, followed by, looks like Pelletier got Lemieux at the line as they came across for 4th and 5th. And again, big story there, Elias Ischel back in the number 6 position. We'll take